Hello there. I am going to do a VOD review of your Moira play here on Junkertown, and we'll see what's giving you a lot of problems. Now, first thing I want to mention, and you've heard this and seen this from the top comment, that it already exists on your Reddit post here, which is to say that Moira's just not the pick, and I completely agree. Moira is not the pick here, and I'll do a little bit of an explanation as to why, because I don't know that he really explained it super well. I mean, you can tell right off from the beginning here, right? You have a core of people that are standing next to each other, you and 3 other people here on your team. And then you have a Hanzo over here, and you have a Genji who is up here half health. Now, realistically, can you support this Genji? Is the big question. Can you support this Genji? And how does it compare to how an Ana or a BAP might support this Genji up here? That's what you got to ask yourself here. Okay, how does it compare? Are you better than Ana? Are you better than BAP? Or is BAP better than you? Or is Ana better than you? Because those are the 3 primary healers that are going to be healing a team like this. And the answer is that Moira is like way worse. The thing is that BAP and Ana do not have to spend cooldowns in order to get to the Genji and heal him. Whereas you have to either use orb up there, which is a big waste of orb, or you have to find yourself a fade rollout off of this cart up on top of the roof to heal him. Or fade, like, I don't know, fade through here and then tell him to look back off the side and get some healing from you here. But then you've used fade, right? You've used your cooldown to get to him. You've used your biotic orb to throw up there. And just notice how the other healers don't have to do that because their healing comes from projectiles. And so the big value from Moira, as he said, which is absolutely correct, is when you play maps that have tighter geometry where your orbs can bounce a lot, and maps in which melee combat, like really close brawly teams, basically Rhine comps, are most viable. Which, if you think about like Lijiang Control Center, that's going to be probably the primest example of a map that just screams brawl. Like, Rhine is required on Lijiang Control Center, essentially. And because Ryan's required, Moira is also pretty good there. However, like, BAP is just so good, honestly, that even though Moira is primed for being like the brawl healer, BAP has been better, especially in Brawl v Brawl, just because Immortality Field is so much stronger than most of everything you can do in your kit. It just comes down to the fact that BAP is just completely broken. And even though he's not supposed to be the primary healer in a brawl comp, it kind of just is, because that's the meta. It's unfortunate, but that's true. Despite all that, that's not what you came here to learn. You came here to try to maybe get better at Moira. And so I'm going to leave all that to the side, and let's just talk about like what you can do on Moira. Okay. And so for here, in this situation, I would not use your cooldowns on the Genji. I would tell your Genji to come to you for healing. That's pretty much what I'm going to say here. That's the wrong person. Here you go. So this, where you throw the orb up the Genji, it's okay, but now you've used your orb. And what you really want to do is be not using this healing orb on a Genji when there's so much damage potential to be done this way. And if you look at the enemy comp, you'll notice that they can't do anything about the damage orb. They don't have Sigma to eat it, and they don't have Diva to eat it. And so it's just going to like tear through their team. You could go up here and you could throw this damage orb like this, honestly, and it would hit a few people and you get some value. You can throw it down sort of at the ground towards this Ana, and she just has to take it. You know what I mean? And so the damage orbs are really going to be sort of what gets you a lot of value. You're going to want to do that to just add more, compound more damage on top of your team and force people to walk away from positions that would otherwise look good. So, oops, here we go. Let's watch a little more. And so you've used both your orb and your fade to get to this Genji, the fight hasn't even started yet. You know what I mean? Like, the fight hasn't even started yet. So you've kept your Genji up, but now you're no cooldowns, and you have to heal this guy over here, this Hanzo. And you just can't do it all, right? So he eventually comes back to you. It thankfully in this situation, while I am kind of over exaggerating a little bit as to how difficult it is to heal your whole team, because I mean they are kind of next to each other now, there are going to be other situations, especially when you get to sort of like the second phase of this attack, where Hanzo is going to want to like press arrows from this angle here and hold behind cover. Your main core, like your Orisa core, is going to be like walking the cart down main, and Genji's probably going to be climbing up this wall and going to do something over here, like take a duel on the off angle. And when you're going to be split up like that, it's going to be a lot harder for you to support your team than it is going to be for you to support them right now. Good on you going for this Echo. You actually like really well positioned to take Echo from the sky there, being that you have a 20-meter range on this secondary fire of yours. So the 20-meter range is the same range as a Hog's Hook, to give you some idea of that. And what else is 20? I think Briggs Flail is... Oh, I don't want to say that. Hold on. Let me make sure that Briggs Flail... I want to know just for myself. It is... Yeah, max range 20 meters for the whip shot. For the whip shot, that is 20 meters long. And so if you are... Man, I'm just going to throw this in here. If you're fighting a hog and you want to be able to pressure the hog, it's probably going to take Coalescence, because if you can hit him with your secondary fire, then he can hook you, because that's the same range. But your ultimate Coalescence has a 30-meter range, 10 more meters than your secondary fire. And so if you play within the 21 to 30-meter range from Roadhog, he'll never be able to hook you, and you can constantly pressure him. All right. Random tidbits of information there. Okay. Good pressure here on the Echo. Gonna force her out there. Keep your team up. Nice. I like the damage orb. Go back 5 seconds there. Hold on a second. What do you got going here? So this looks like a healing orb. No, it was a damage orb. My bad. Okay, that's fine. Thought it was a healing orb for a second there. And if it was a healing orb, I would have said to throw it sideways on this wall to the left. But it was a damage orb, so that's fine. Pressuring the Reinhardt here. It'd be nice if you could pressure someone other than the Reinhardt. Like your team's going to pressure the Reinhardt. They're going to pressure his shield. They're going to put a lot of damage to it, and that's good. That's fine and all. But you are in a position where you could walk up here. Excuse me. And you could like pressure Ana, and you could pressure the Mercy or someone, and like convince people back here to look at you instead of what's going on over here. Because I mean, your damage here is only 50 per second. So it's not like you're going to add a huge amount of damage to Ryan, and you're going to get way more value with your 50 damage per second by putting it on Ana and pull it away her healing, right? Ana's healing I want to say Ana heals for 105 damage or 105 healing per second. Well, look at the math, right? You can put 50 damage onto the Rhine, or you can pull 100 healing off of the Rhine by pressuring the Ana. So I would be looking to going up here and pressuring the Ana. If you pressure the Ana here and she starts walking back and the Mercy pulls her beam off of the Rhine and puts it on the Ana instead, now you've pulled another 55 healing per second off of the Rhine. Now the Rhine looks in like really bad shape, because he goes from having about 150 healing, or actually 160 healing per second on him, to having 0 with a low shield, and he dies. And so let's hope we see something like that. He gets the nano. Wow. And so Ana being able to sit there for free that whole time was just able to farm an entire nano boost in that short period of time. Good fade to get out of that. You're keeping him up. Nice. So now with our low healing energy here, we're probably going to want to do like the flutter touch, where you just kind of like tap the secondary fire button. And as long as you're hitting somebody, actually, I'm not sure if it counts if you're hitting shields, but as long as you're hitting somebody in a situation like this where you would be gaining your sort of like fade energy, or sorry, your biotic energy, whatever. If you flutter it, of course, and you probably know this mechanic, it actually gives it to you faster for some reason, and so you can flutter it to get that little backup. You want to try to keep that above half if you can, because some emergencies will require to use a full half of your entire tank, and you don't want to just like be sitting on a third because you weren't fluttering. I like fading behind him here. That's nice. And you had beat, so super safe to do that. Nice play there. There's a little bit AFKing here. You want to like prepare yourself, find yourself like maybe up here, get ready for things to happen. Things to happen for sure. Stuff's about to go down. You've got coalescence. Another great place. Another. This is me giving you some, perhaps maybe some questionable advice, but you are in gold, and in gold, this is like the playmaking elo. If you can make big plays, you're going to get big value because people just don't expect it. People expect really below average play when you're playing in gold. Like, people's ability to predict what you're going to do depends on whether you're going to do the most predictable thing or not. So what you could do is you could chill like around here, like behind the gear. Get ready for them to like start dropping off. And then right on this gear, there's actually a fade rollout. And this was possible to do pre-buff to the fade buff recently. But you can fade and jump off of this, and you can land yourself up here. You have to take it at maybe a bit of an angle. I think if you start here and you see where I'm looking, like if you take it at about an angle and you fade, what you do is you walk towards it, you press your fade button, and then you press your jump button as you're invisible and right on top of this gear. And if you do it right, you can actually land up here. That's a fade jump, and maybe you're aware of that. We'll see. I haven't watched this VOD yet, so maybe you do that. But as you're up here, this is where you are primed to kill one of these people, right? So you see how Ana is going to be chilling up here, and how Mercy might be chilling up here. Certainly, right? Certainly. Oh, sorry, this is Ana. That's Ash. My bad. Certainly, as the team starts walking off and contesting cart, usually Ana is the one who sits up here, right? And so if you can come up here, throw a damage orb, whip out your coalescence, well, you can assassinate the Ana and then come right back off from the top, be behind them with coalescence, and now you're looking pretty strong, right? You've already taken out their best healer, and you're primed to probably kill the Mercy too if you were gonna go look for it. So let's see what you do.
I am ready to unleash coalescence.
You tried. That's rough. Yeah, that's a sad place to die. And so you could have been playing in a little bit better cover. I think as you're standing right here, if you're actually more behind this gray box, like here, you could have been in just better cover. If I go back for just a second, in fact, I wanted to go back and look at it from the Ash's perspective to see like how this Ash was able to see you. I'm going to slow it down a little bit here.
Onwards to victory.
No, this is far back enough. Hold on. My bad. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, my bad. It's the Kree that sees you. What the fuck? A shot.
Thank you kindly.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'll give it to him. That's a nice shot. But as you can see from what he was able to see there, if you were further over to the left, I think you could have dodged that. However, another thing that you could be thinking is that maybe it's like more your Reese's job to push this cart. And so you could be sticking a little bit closer to the Sigma, or you could stick behind this thing and just like, you know, be someone who can like respond to an emergency rather than someone who just like pushes the cart forward. Yeah, you're not behind a shield at the moment. Damn, and it really sucks to die there. Okay. Going back here. You can't save that guy. You don't jump off of this high ground. Or if you do, fade back, fade back, fade back, fade back, fade back. Don't die here. See, I mean, this is like, they could be pushing further. And as you get higher elos, this Ash and this Cassidy, they're both going to be looking to come up here and see what kind of pressure they can find. Just like before you even get back to the fight. Pre-fight picks are a big deal in this elo. And so if they can find anyone who's trying to regroup a little too far up, like you, then they'll take the shots and they might get you. And that's a way to lose a game real fast. So just be careful about how far you're pushing up without your team. Where you're willing to stand and kind of not really think about the fact that you're actually in a lot of danger. I don't know what the fuck your Lucio's doing, by the way. That's throwing. Holy shit, that's throwing. But, I mean, it's what I expect in this elo. I don't mind it. You got the damage orb first, so you understand that aspect of Moira. It's a good fade, and now you need to retreat. This fight's lost. Good. And another fade. Nice. Out of there. This peak is completely unnecessary. There's nothing to be gained. I mean, you're going to throw a damage orb, I guess. There you go. Okay. Alright. It's funny how Lucio's saying group up when he died first from not grouping up. Okay. So you got a bit of a fade jump there. It was kind of nice. You throw the damage orb, but you didn't land in a very great spot. So, like, here you're just going to get hit pretty fucking hard. Like, this is really bad. You're going to get pulled. You don't have fade. That could have been death. Holy shit. So, like, I know what I said earlier is you want to be the kind of person in this elo to just make plays, but you don't want to be the person that makes a play without your team. Because if you go back here, there was a timing that this could have worked and looked a lot better. So I don't hate what you did. I hate the timing. Okay. So if you watch this, you see the timing here. See how your team hasn't committed to this yet. It's interesting. You have the Genji over here with the blade. It's going to do some shit. But, like, your team hasn't committed yet. When you make a hero play, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with making hero plays. But if you make the hero play and the enemy team is all looking at you, if everyone on the enemy team is looking at you, then consider whether that was worth, right? Because if you look at this, like, they all saw you do that. They all saw it. So if this was differently timed, if maybe your team was already like pushing forward and like maybe your Orisa just dropped a shield and like on top of this one and was able to like start taking space, then that hero play where you're jumping into what looks like the entire enemy team, they're not even looking at you though. That's the difference. So if it's more of a surprise in which like you can do something like this and they're not all looking at you, it's way better than if they are looking at you, because this, you just risked your life, and this is throwing the game. That's really, really bad. But there's a subtle difference between that being throwing the game and actually being an okay thing to do. Thankfully you stayed alive for that. You got an orb here. Nice. Throw it. Your fade dodgers are pretty good. Just want to say, a little compliment to you there. I've seen you dodge 2 Earth Shatters now and a High Noon. So hey, good fade dodges. Yeah, good try. It's really hard for you to keep someone who's purple up and alive. Really, the only counterplay that anyone can do against your whole team or just part of your team getting purpled is Immortality Field. It's just another nod to Baptiste being kind of really strong. Is that he really has like the only counterplay to purple, really. I mean, at least in the healer lineup. Now, your Risa going on kind of a mad flank here. I kind of like you supporting her on this. The rest of your team is probably just going to get mowed down on main, so I'm not really sure. This is a little bit weird timing. Notice that you have a Rhine in spawn, and so like your team could make perhaps a better effort at making sort of a more consistent, like all together approach to a team fight. But this altogether isn't too bad because it is 5v5 and they have one dead that just died though. So if I go back a second, it was 6, but then a kill happened.
10 seconds remaining.
Like it'd be better to approach this as a whole team, and so it's a little bit risky. I see it as a little bit risky. Let's go back here because something happened. You died. You got a kill there. Yikes, that sucks. It's good, Bob. And you're still on Lucio, though.
Score 0-0.
This is also one of those longer range maps too. Like any map where when you think about the map, you immediately think of like Widowmaker. And for me, that just pretty much screams like Junkertown and Havana. Those are great Widowmaker maps. That's why they're horrifying maps if you're not a Widowmaker player. So Moira being this sort of close range hero, it's hard to tell you of any really good, like solid strategy, solid approach to this map as a Moira, just because it wasn't designed for her. Right? This map is designed for really long sightlines. This map is designed for a hero like Ana to really shine. And so that's just another nod to Moira is just not the play. But I don't want to keep saying that too much. Like I'm saying it a little bit, but I don't want to like dwell on it for too long. Okay. Doing the really close approach. Okay. Now you're on Zenyatta Moira. Your team's really going to be relying on you to hold up these tanks as much as possible. And what's worse is your tanks are playing a little bit split right now. So you got like one down here and one up here. That's going to be hard to kind of keep with. Another issue I'm noticing right off the bat is what the living shit is this Zenyatta doing? I can't even describe to you a worse position than this, other than maybe this. Like Zenyatta should be here, right? Should be as far back as possible, not right on the cart. So it does suck that you have like a thrower on your team doing some weird shit. Okay, so he comes back. He realizes he's like completely wrong. At least he came back. Okay. I would be prioritizing your mostly healing orbs here. Like I know there's right in the beginning here, there's this big incentive to just like throw this first damage orb, but there is such a responsibility on you to keep up a lot of healing that you're just not very well equipped to do. And so it feels to me wrong to throw damage orbs when you might very quickly need a healing orb. Just keep that in mind. I'm not calling it like a misplay. It just like if I were in your shoes right now, I would be reluctant to throw that first damage orb. Okay. Yeah. Well, it is really hard to support your team as a Moira here. Definitely not like Moira Zen. That's not going to work with Orisa Rhine. They require a lot more resources to keep up. Even though you do have a Rhine, which makes sense as like the hero that you would put a Moira with. Like Rhine Moira go, I think, pretty well together. There's really like there's nothing you could have done to win this game. And so I mean I see your frustration. I see why you submitted this VOD to Reddit, because this game looks completely unwinnable. And it totally is unwinnable. And I don't want to say that if you were playing Ana that you would have won, because maybe it would still be unwinnable with how oddly your team was playing, how way too far up they were playing in the very beginning, and maybe it was doomed to be a loss anyway. But you gotta play for statistics and probability, and in this case, I just don't think that I don't think Moira was the play. So, and I'm definitely I'm sorry to say that and everything, but that's just kind of what it is. I'd love to see maybe a VOD of you playing Moira on a map that kind of makes more sense to play Moira. One that's sort of like closer range. I wouldn't mind seeing Moira, for example, on like on a King's Row, or like usually most of the control maps. But yeah, I mean, that would be cool to look at, and maybe there's more tips to be had, because it's not like the hero herself isn't like viable at all, but she's definitely, there's maps where she's better. There's maps where you're going to shine more, and this is just not one of them. I think your Junkertown win percentage with Moira is going to be pretty low, and it's not a nod to how bad you are or anything like that. It's just a matter of like Moira's not built for this this map. So just going to do a quick look just to make sure you're aware of it. Not that I recommend playing Moira on this map, but do none. Why did this work on? And then heroes, Moira. Moira. Fade to 0.
Welcome to Junkertown.
Science will reveal the truth.
Yeah, and it's just a little thing here. Very simple to do to get up here. And I think you know this again. I think you know that. But you can do it off of either gear, pretty sure. I don't remember ever doing it off this one, but yeah, it seems easy enough. Yeah, that's really it. Just want to make sure that was pretty clear and that you know you can do that. And that's it. I will say, if you're looking for like an educational streamer to check out for Moira play, this guy Arcs is like really good. Let me see if I can find him real quick. Hold on. Okay, I'll pull this. I think you can see this on the recording, hopefully. But this here is a guy Arcs, in this video by OTS is like a montage of Arcs. He's like a 4.5k European Moira player. Been playing Moira for a long time, and he's one of those players that you'd want to emulate if you wanted to like really dive into Moira a lot. His Twitch is here. It looks like twitch.tv/arcs_UK, ARX, that's Arcs. And then his YouTube is youtube.com/arcs_UK. Check this guy out. He's pretty good and a cool guy. Anyway, have a good day.